Right here. This is where we are finally going to get news and a definitive date for the Elden Ring DLC dropping in 2024. It has been a very long wait. In fact, the last time we heard anything from Software regarding Elden Ring was February 28th, 2023. It has indeed been a very long wait, and we are all anxious to see and hear what is going to happen at the Game Awards on December 7th. But why is this a matter-of-fact thing? Why is this 100% going to happen at the Game Awards this year instead of FromSoft waiting a little bit longer and then releasing a trailer or gameplay footage later on in the year? Well, I'm going to tell you exactly why I know this is going to happen, and I think the majority of YouTube right now is going to agree with me. So first and foremost, they needed to get Armored Core out of the way, and I don't say that to say that Armored Core was a bad game at all, but what I mean to say is that Armored Core needed a great shelf life, and it needed the people who loved FromSoft games to really focus on that game while FromSoft continued the development of Shadow of the Erdtree and polished it and finished it for early year release of next year. It would have made no sense for FromSoft to release Armored Core in August and then right away before the year ended release Shadow of the Erdtree to us, because that is ultimately very poor business practice and it would have taken all the wind out of Armored Core sales. In fact, because they didn't do this, Armored Core had an absolutely phenomenal launch and still has a very invested player base that is continually playing the game. But surrounding the Elden Ring DLC release, there is so much speculation. There are so many people that claim they know what's going on. There's so many people that claim they've heard about what's going to go on in the DLC, where it's going to take place, how we're going to get to it. But overall, everything that people have said so far is speculation, but I am almost 100% positive we will at least get a cinematic trailer for the Shadow of the Erdtree at the Game Awards for one reason and one reason only. Armored Core is done. The development is done. The game has been released. People have played it. They have loved it. And now everyone is looking to the future, and FromSoft is going to want to start this next year with a bang, and releasing that trailer at the Game Awards is the way to do it. Regardless of if we had a DLC drop in March or February, this would make absolute perfect sense if they released the cinematic trailer in December, then in January we got a gameplay trailer, and then in February or March we got the actual DLC. In fact, if you look at all the different DLCs that have dropped for every FromSoft game that has come out, this kind of makes sense, especially when you look at the Dark Souls 1 DLC. It took 11 months for it to come out, and that DLC was absolutely massive because, correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments, but I'm pretty sure that DLC was supposed to be 2 separate DLC, and they wrapped it into one, making it one of the biggest DLCs to release. Now, if we fast forward to now, where games take way longer to develop because of the intense amount of resources needed to produce a phenomenal game, then this makes total sense, and we should be getting a DLC around 2 years after the initial release of Elden Ring. In fact, to hit this point home even harder, the YouTuber Ziostorm had this on his Twitter page that there is supposedly going to be a February 5th release. Now, Ziostorm has been very credible over the past few years with Elden Ring and certain leaks that have been coming out for the game, so I wouldn't be surprised at all if this became true. There were also statements from Katagawa, who is From Software's parent company, saying in their financial reports that released a few months ago that the Shadow of the Erdtree DLC is developing smoothly, which leads me to believe that it is almost finished and it will be out soon. Another reason I think we're definitely going to be getting a cinematic trailer at the Game Awards is because it would be very poetic for Shadow of the Erdtree to get a cinematic debut on the exact same stage that it took home Game of the Year. I think that would bring everything full circle and get everybody revamped and ready to go into the new year with anxious anticipation for Shadow of the Erdtree. Now, as far as the story goes for Shadow of the Erdtree, I definitely have heard so many different speculations on YouTube about where people think the story is going to go. Is it going to be in the past? Is it going to be in the future? What is going to happen with it? But overall, I think definitely it is going to focus on Miquella and potentially Miquella's dream. I would love to see that portion of the lore that was withheld from us from the very first release of Elden Ring, because he is the only main character, in my opinion, that I really feel like the story could follow closely and give us a lot of lore and fantastic gameplay to go along with it. Out of all of the different bosses and NPCs within Elden Ring, I feel like Miquella was shrouded in the most mystery, and this would be an absolutely perfect opportunity for FromSoft to shed some light on not only his character, but the storyline that goes along with him. But whatever we end up getting, it's going to completely blow all of our minds, because that's just how From Software works. Every single thing that I've seen in Elden Ring, the 2,000 plus hours that I have put into this game, and all of the love that I've gotten from it has been absolutely incredible. So no matter what what they release in Shadow of the Erdtree, it is going to be one of the best DLCs and or one of the best games that I have actually ever played. And speaking of playing the DLC, how long is it going to be? There has been so many different ideas and so much speculation. Some people saying it could be a 20-hour DLC. Other people have said it could be upwards of 50. It all just depends. But before it was taken down, Fighting Cowboy said on a podcast that it should be around 20 hours, which if that's true, doesn't seem like a lot, but we need to remember that that's pretty much 20 hours of story. Elden Ring was only released with about 50 hours of actual story content, but we have gotten hundreds of thousands of hours out of this game, so I can only imagine what that's going to mean for the actual DLC. We may only get 20 hours of story, but between exploration, lore, and discovery, we could get upwards of 50 hours to this new DLC. But when we boil everything down to what's actually been factually proven is that the Shadow of the Erdtree development is running smoothly, and we have been waiting for almost 2 years for this DLC. But regardless of what happens at the Game Awards, I want FromSoft to take as much time as humanly possible to make sure that the Shadow of the Erdtree is as polished and as wonderful as we all think it is going to be, because they do not have the reputation of releasing bad games or unfinished ones. So guys, that's going to be it for this particular video. If you guys enjoyed the content, feel free to like, follow, subscribe, hit the bell notifications so you guys can know when I'm making more videos. I would appreciate it a ton. Let me know some ideas that you have for the DLC and things that you want to see not only changed but put into the game with this new DLC coming. I want to thank you guys again for watching until the end of the video, and until next time, stay safe, enjoy the game, and I'll see you in the next one.